Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Larry. Glad to have you. What makes a home safe for seniors? What really makes your home safe for seniors? That's what I'm going to talk about today. I've done a lot of things to make our home safe. There's a few things I need to do more. But if you stay to the end, I got an extra bonus thing for you that I just see people do all the time. It just drives me crazy. Um, but anyway, the number one reason seniors go to the ER, the emergency room, is for home falls, where they fall while they're at home. That's the number one cause of all the visits that seniors make to the emergency room. And if you think about it, that really makes sense. There's a lot of reasons for that. Some of the things you can do here to avoid these falls: clear the walkways. If you got a lot of stuff in your house, make sure your walkways are clear. Um, Handrails, make sure your handrails are up. Grab bars. I'm not quite there yet with the grab bars in the bathrooms, but as the wife says, I'm getting closer every day. So one of these days I'm going to have to install some grab bars. But this is a real important one: the non-slip rugs. The non-slip rugs. Some rugs, depending on the floor, tile or wood or laminate or whatever, they slip really easy, and those are some of the causes. Now everybody probably has smoke detectors in their home. Uh, I've got a hardwire system, which means when one goes off, guess what? They all go off. The wife likes to check them sometimes when she's cooking something in the oven. They'll kick on every once in a while, and I always thank her for when the house gets a little smoky for a second or two. I always thank her for checking out the smoke detectors, make sure they're still working. In fact, I even put an extra one in the basement just to make sure that we're totally safe there. Fire extinguishers, that's something people don't even think about, but we do. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you exactly what I do in our house for safety and security. Actually, you need to plan if the front door is blocked, how are you going to get out of your apartment? How are you going to get out of your house? That's a big priority. Video doorbells are a big thing these days. We had one for a while, and actually I installed it and it worked fine. But we had two options: you either leave it on or leave it on. My wife has hearing aids and Wi-Fi, so we left it on her ears. But then, if she would happen to be doing something else and did have her hearing aids in, we could not hear the doorbell. So actually, I uninstalled it. I took it off, put the old one back on. We have a side window on our front door, so we can still see who's out there without opening the door. At the very least, you should have a peephole. I've seen a lot of houses with peepholes, so you can see what's on the other side of that door before you open it. Locks and deadbolts. I kind of feel like I'm preaching to the choir on some of these things. Uh, Deadbolts are mandatory. I have them on all three of my entry doors. And I'm going to explain. I do those a little bit differently than most people. Also, if you're home alone, one of the things you can do is check in with somebody or have somebody check in with you every day. I ran into a friend of mine at Speedway the other day, and in the afternoon, it was a little unusual for him. He's retired and he has some work clothes on. I said, "So, what you doing?" He said, "The wife's out of town for a few days attending this convention." And he said, "I've decided I'm going to dig out these two fence posts in the backyard. They've been needing to come out, and I didn't want to do it when she was around. She gets a little nervous for me. He's my age." But I said, "Look, man, you need to let somebody know that you're doing that. I don't want her to come home in 3 or 4 days and find you laying in the backyard. So you need to let somebody know." And that's what we do. When my wife and I are away from each other, we let somebody know. She checks in on me or I check in on her. Now, this is the best part. I'm going to tell you exactly what I've done in my house, my own house. Fire extinguishers, smoke alarms. I already told you about the smoke alarms, but the fire extinguishers, we have a small one in the hallway upstairs. We have a small one in the kitchen right next to the stove, well, within 2 arms reach of the stove. And we also have one in the family room. That's a large one. That's a large one. I hope I never use them. Hope I never use any of them, and I never have, but I hope I never do. But it's something nice to have on hand. You can get the small ones really inexpensively. Um, we put up one thing I did a couple of years ago was I put up extra handrails, not going up to we have an open foyer type house, and just standard handrails. But I didn't put any extra ones up there, but going down the basement, I put up extra handrails. So there's a handrail on each side now. So whichever hand we're carrying something in, we always have a handrail there. And that's come in handy so many times. And it's a real easy install. Locks, deadbolts, pretty standard. The only difference is most deadbolts, the strike plate goes into a door frame, which is standard, but those screws I give for the strike plate are only like 3/4 of an inch. A hard shoulder hit, and that frame will pop. Well, what I did, I put in 3-inch screws in that thing. Yeah, you can still get in if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to get in, but it's going to take you even with a ramming tool, you'd have to hit it pretty hard in order to get in. So that's just a little something different that I did. Probably the best investment I made, it's not even an investment, it's cheap, was I installed a motion detector. It's battery operated. We use it sometimes when we're going to be out late at night. We don't use it during the day at all, of course, but it's in our main area. You come in any one of 3 doors, you'll get about 2 or 3 steps, and that thing's going to go off. And I'll tell you what, for a battery operated motion detector, it will absolutely wake the dead. It is loud and it is piercing. It went off. I was testing it one time when my wife was around with her hearing aids, and she about screamed. It hurt. Yeah, I mean, it's loud. You can get them big box store online. They're like $30, and it's a really cheap, inexpensive thing to do. Now I put up really hardcore door stops at the bottom of all 3 of my entry doors. Like I said, you can get in if you really want to get in. You can get in, but it's going to take you a while. But they also have these little alarms. Looks like a regular door stop, a little bit bigger than a door stop. These little plastic door stops, so it's a little bit bigger, but they have alarms. So if that door opens, the alarm goes off, and they're they're like $8 or $10 online, just for safety purposes. I think that's a really good idea. When we leave the house, this is a no-brainer. When we leave the house and we're going to be back after dark, guess what? We leave a couple lights on. I think that's just common sense. One thing that we do also, I think most people do this, we leave night lights in the bathrooms. Now that we're older, we leave night lights on in the bathrooms, in our hallway upstairs, in our downstairs, in our entry, we have a night light. I really like that because when I stumble downstairs at 4 o'clock in the morning and don't want to turn on the big lights, I can see exactly where I'm going. Those really come in handy. I worked in apartment complexes for most of my career, and I always wondered when I was in some older person's apartment, they always had these plastic pads in their bathtub, and I could never figure out why they had those. I thought, well, that tub's not that slippery. Well, then I got old. And I was taking a shower one day. It's probably been 15, 20 years ago. And I was taking a shower one day. It's getting a little slippery. I'm going to have to get me one of those pads. So now we have pads so we don't slip. Also in the bathrooms and the kitchen, we do have non-slip rugs, non-slip pads. So we don't want to fall. We don't want to fall. Along with the motion detector and any kind of alarm you've got, I put stickers on all 3 of my entries. They know, anybody that's going to come in my house knows that there's a alarm of some sort. You don't have to go to a big expense like an 80, I can't say any company names, these large companies that sell security systems, and I know a lot of people have them. But just something simple, it's very worthwhile. Anybody wanting to break in your house, they will avoid those houses at all costs. We also leave all exterior lights on at night. When it's dark, exterior lights are on, and that will dissuade anybody from coming up to your house. And last but not least, I am a firm believer in the Second Amendment, and I'll just leave that there. No comments on that one. Now, this is a bonus. I see people do this every day. This is not inside the home. It drives me crazy. I'll be at one of the large shopping centers or something, big box stores, and I'll see people walking in from the parking lot, talking on their phone. They don't have a clue as what's going on around. Just yesterday, I was just going through a parking lot. I was going like 5 miles an hour, and some lady walked right out in front of me, talking on her phone. Predators are looking for easy prey. They're not looking for a strong person to pick on. I know we're older, and that's fine. I can't hide my age, but I can't hide the way I I feel at the time. I get out of my van to go into a big store. I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or sometimes I go at 6 o'clock in the morning. I like to go before everybody else gets out. Even if I'm hurting, I don't have that old man shuffle. I straighten up, throw my shoulders back, my head is on a swivel. Just look around. Be aware of your surroundings. Uh, People who mean you harm, they're gonna look for the weak prey. But just don't be talking on your phone out in the parking lot and not having a clue as to what's going on. Anyway, that's about all I've got for now. If you got anything out of this, like, share, subscribe. Until we meet again, I'm going to continue to press on towards that goal.